Hey, so I'm back with No Frills Hi-Fi. Taking another look at this iFi Audio Neo stream. I've had some time to fiddle around with it. Just kind of want to give you some of my impressions. Like I've said, if you watch the unboxing, I'm not typically a big digital guy. But I do like the idea of being able to stream. In some cases, if I'm having a party or, just kind of hanging out with some friends, I don't feel like flipping records. We're not all here to critically listen. We're just kind of wanting some music playing. This is the way to go. You may also, maybe digital is your format. So, this would be excellent for people like that. For me, it doesn't really have much of a place in my system. So, I did want to spend some time just kind of fiddling with it. I got to be honest, it took me a while to get it set up. I probably should have immediately updated the firmware on it. I didn't. This is a loaner unit, so typically when I get loaners, I don't really have to worry about that because the previous person did it. So I was being lazy. But I am connected right now through Apple AirPlay 2, just basically playing on iTunes. It sounds pretty good. I'm just running it through a Fosi Audio V3 amp right now with some vintage Sansui speakers. It sounds pretty good. I will say, even with the Apple lossless, it's not quite what I'm used to. It's not on par with obviously vinyl, but I did listen to some of the online radio stations. Basically, let me grab something real quick. Got my phone here. So basically, if you get the app for that, let me get this pulled up real quick. So the app is just Stream iFi, and you go through a setup where you select which streamer you've got, and then you can go in and kind of change things. So I kind of did like that you can go into the settings, and you can change all sorts of functionality for it. I've got everything turned off except for the AirPlay, but it does Roon, the LNA browser. It's got a bunch of different stuff, Tidal, Spotify. I did notice when I had everything else, I had everything turned on to begin with, and it did sound kind of muddy. I was really disappointed at first, and I turned the others off and just kept the active one open, and it sounds infinitely better for some reason. So I would, if you're having trouble with it, doesn't sound quite right, I would definitely look at that. Now I will say I played some Spotify stuff earlier. I played, if you go here, if I can remember where it is. Yeah, so in the app, if you go here to web radio, you can find all sorts of radio stations. It's kind of like Sirius XM if you're familiar with it. You can even find local stations. I found a couple of local radio stations on here. And I will say they range in quality, but it does tell you, let me just hit local radios here. So, it'll tell you 256 kilobytes per second or 96 kilobytes per second. So you can kind of get an idea of what you're getting into. So far, what I've done on it, I played Spotify. Spotify sounded really, really, really good. I did make sure that I was on the highest resolution setting. Apple Music, even with lossless, is just not. It's not where it should be. I mean, let's be honest. I'm a believer in Apple products. I think they make a good product, but I think Apple Music is made to play on tiny phones or 4-inch car stereo speakers. It's just not made for hi-fi. That's where I think Spotify really does win out. But even the radio stations they've got on here, some of them came out really, really good. So, do be careful. It's a product of what source you use for it. Sort of like the old analogy or adage, whatever you call it. Shit in, shit out. That's exactly what you're going to get here. Now it is kind of cracking up. I have noticed if I put my phone really close to it, it starts messing up for a minute. And then it just kind of goes back to normal. So we'll see if that happens again. I do have a lot of other electronics kind of around here, but now I will say I do kind of like that little screen there. You know, it does rotate automatically if you put it in the vertical orientation. Let me find that. So you can put it like that too. That's kind of growing on me, honestly, because it's something that I don't think I would get a whole lot of use out of. It wouldn't be my main component, but I actually do like it. So I think if I was going to keep it, if I was going to purchase this, I probably would actually not stack it. I would keep it in maybe a vertical format and just kind of push it to the side somewhere, because my main focus is always going to be my turntable. But then when people come over, I can just seamlessly start playing, and I don't have to worry about flipping a record or somebody who doesn't know how to handle records touching my system. They can just AirPlay to that. So I think that's really cool to be able to add that to a system and still get high quality sound. Right now, like I said, I'm playing something through Apple Music. I'm playing an album I play a lot for testing. It's music from Big Pink by the band. You can actually see it right there. But I am really torn on a couple of things. I've said it before, I don't like this dial. It's a little wonky, kind of off center. Maybe that's because it's a loaner unit. Maybe it's been dropped or thrown around. But it doesn't have that crisp feeling like you get with most higher end electronics. To pay $1,300 for it, I would expect that to be a little bit higher quality. I also do wish there was a headphone jack in the front. I'm not a big headphone person, but I can see this being something that I might use with headphones. To be honest, though, I think if I was going to do that, I'd probably just hook them up to my phone. But I do like that this has the built-in DAC that I can use with that. I also did try it hardwired. I've got this upside down for one thing. I did try it hardwired for Ethernet. I did use the Octabox. I didn't notice a difference with and without this, to be totally honest. I can see where you might, if you do have some interference, depending on your network connection, you might need it, you might not. I personally didn't notice a difference in that at all. I do like that they make this, though. I think, and the fact that they give it to you with it, I know they don't give you anything, you pay for it in the end, but it's nice that they include that in the box in case it is something that you need. In case you didn't watch the unboxing, this unit has quite a few ports in the back. Let me just spin that around. So it's got obviously power. It's got this M12 Ethernet port. It is a very high-end kind of, a rare thing. You won't see a whole lot. RJ45, which is just your standard Ethernet plug like everybody has. And then it's also got this optical SC port. So an optical cable is going to have much less interference. So what this does is you can plug your RJ45 into that and then use optical. It does come with a cable to go between the two, so that will filter out some of that interference. Like I said, I didn't need it. I didn't see any bit of difference between the two. I played several albums, spent quite a long time playing it with both. Didn't see a difference. You've also got this USB-C port here to upgrade the system. Now, I used the app, and I was able to update it with that. I didn't have to do anything special. I just hit the update button and it updated. You've also got these USB-C port or USB-A ports. These are for like mass storage or thumb drives, stuff like that. As far as the, oh, and you've also got this, I believe is it 12S or is it 125? I can't tell, but something I'm not terribly familiar with. I actually had to look up. Probably should do some more research on it, but it's an HDMI port, but it is a little different than HDMI. It is audio only, and it is apparently a very high quality. Now here we do have 4.4 millimeter balanced. That is going to look like that. Kind of looks like a big headphone jack. iFi does love the 4.4 millimeter balanced cables. So if you have an iFi DAC, maybe a little bit higher grade one that you want to use, or an amplifier that you want to run this to, you can use it with that. I've got my RCA plugs plugged in here. Again, I like analog, so I'm going to my Foci V3 with that, with some Audio Quest cables here. You've also got your Toslink or SPDIF output right there, and you got coax output. You also have XLR, and then of course the little Wi-Fi antenna. Actually, when I did the unboxing, I mentioned on the front, I was talking about the buttons here, and I mentioned that one, thinking, well, maybe it's the Bluetooth pairing button. It's not. I was wrong. Didn't do my research. I rarely do when I do these. I like to kind of discover it as I play with it, but there's no Bluetooth here that I found anyway. But you do have another USB-C port on the front. This is for thumb drives, mass storage, that kind of thing. Power button. Pretty self-explanatory. Basically, you press it real quick, it turns it on. You press it a little bit longer and it turns it off. But if you press and hold it, it will do a factory reset, I believe. No, that's right. There's a separate reset button back here. I was thinking about a different unit I had. So it does have a factory reset button. Press and hold, it turns off. This dial, though, I don't know why. Whenever I lift it up and tilt it, it thinks that I've done that with it. So I guess I'm going to leave it like that, and hopefully you can see what's going on. So with this dial, basically you control volume with it. Right now I'm controlling volume with my amp, so there's really no control there. But if I click it, I can, whoops, hang on, it still thinks volume. Yeah, okay, yeah. So if I hit this button, that's going to be kind of your mode button. So you can go to standard, I can click on that, and I can go to, I can either say, well, I want more advanced settings. That just makes it simpler to use, or more advanced. I didn't see a difference in them. Honestly, I looked through them, I can't tell the difference. This is just how bright you want that display. And so you can go here, you can see system status. This is hotspot, you can turn on and off. You can set different modes, analog, digital. So it does have a lot of cool stuff that it does. I'm not going to get into too much of that, just because, you know, honestly, if you want specs, I always say you can look at the website. Specs don't tell you how things sound. I can tell you I do like the way that it sounds. Maybe a little bit better DAC and a little bit better amp might help it out some. It does have a built-in DAC, but it's not quite there yet. You know, if I was looking for something to reproduce the quality of sound I'm getting from vinyl, this isn't it. If I want something that's easy to use, that's very high quality, that does sound really good, gives you a lot of versatility, I think that's it. I think, you know, it's $1,300. Does it fall short in some areas? Yeah. That dial was a big disappointment for me. But other than that, I mean, I don't think you're gonna find something that does everything that this one does with all those extra ports, that's kind of built for expandability the way that this is, for that kind of price. But I'm going to fiddle with it some more. If I come up with anything new or different, I'll put it in the comments. But thanks so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so I get more free stuff.